Dexter Morgan is dead, or so his son Harrison believes. But his story isn't over. With Showtime's Dexter Resurrection coming, fans are intrigued as to how our beloved killer will escape the law again. Well, we at ScreenRant have written our own plot for Dexter Resurrection.
Tonight's the night. Hello, Dexter Morgan.
Our story begins not in the frigid wilderness where Dexter fell, but in a sterile hospital room surrounded by beeping monitors, the harsh glow of fluorescent lights, and the sterile scent of antiseptic. Dexter wakes. As his vision focuses, he notices the tubes and needles stuck all over his body. He was supposed to be dead. The last thing he remembers is Harrison pulling the trigger, but against all odds, he survived. A doctor enters, looks at Dexter's chart, and remarks on how lucky he is to still be alive. It was the quick actions of Police Chief Bishop that kept him going. Dexter seems panicked. He tries to raise his hand to his face, only to discover it is cuffed to the bed. The doctor nods at the handcuffs and confirms that Dexter was kept in a coma for some months so he could heal from the wound, as well as the onset pneumonia and hyperthermia he was suffering from, then makes a wry joke about cuffing a sleeping man. After the consultation, the doctor leaves and Dexter spots two uniformed officers guarding his room. As the days pass, Dexter's health begins to improve, but his situation does not. He cannot feign recovery as an excuse to avoid police interviews forever, and he hears the hospital staff arguing with detectives about giving him more time to heal. Now, he must work out a way to escape before he is well enough to be sent to prison. Meanwhile, Harrison is struggling. He believed he had ended his father's cycle of blood, but instead, he feels lost. The dark passenger inside him hasn't disappeared, it has only grown stronger. Seeking answers, he returns to Miami, the city where his father's story began.
Another beautiful Miami day. Mutilated corpses with the chance of afternoon showers.
Still in hospital, Dexter has been learning the guard routines and shift changes in the hopes to find a weakness. As he is recovering well, he is now given some time out of bed to move around for exercise. This means he is uncuffed, but escorted. He uses this time to case the building, check for exits, clearways, and opportunities. Passing a ward desk, he swipes some paper clips and a bobby pin and hides them in his fist. Back in his room, he is visited by detectives. There is a lot they want answers to, and Dexter offers to discuss Matt Caldwell and how he escaped jail, all things they already know. Frustrated, they leave, and Dexter begins working to unpick the locks on his handcuffs. Back in Miami, the echoes of Dexter's past remain, even though Miami Metro has changed so much. Still though, murders go unsolved, justice remains elusive, and the ghosts of old cases linger in the air like a bad omen.
You think you can get rid of everything? But something always gets left behind.
Harrison's arrival in Miami is quiet and goes under the radar, at least for a while. He starts digging into Dexter's past and looking through as much information about the old cases as is possible in order to get some understanding of his father. Finally, his snooping goes too far. Harrison asks the wrong questions in the wrong bar in the wrong part of town. He is thrown out into the night by the bar manager. As he walks in search of a bus stop, he notices someone following him. Though the situation is dangerous, Harrison begins to feel his darkness take control. He leads the stranger to the edge of a dark alleyway where he stops to tie his shoe, giving the follower time to strike. The attacker drags him into the shadows and gets two good punches in before Harrison pins him to a wall by his neck and starts to interrogate the man. A fight ensues, but Harrison's violent streak comes out. As he feels the adrenaline push him to keep going, he manages to pull back enough to let the attacker escape. Sirens are heard in the distance and Harrison sits and waits. He is brought to the station to give a statement as a victim of the attack. When his name is taken, it does not go unnoticed. The officer makes their excuses for a moment and leaves their desk. Homicide Captain Angel Batista is informed, and Harrison is moved to an interrogation room at his request. Intrigued by the boy's sudden appearance in Dexter's old stomping grounds, Batista has a few questions for him. In surprise news to Harrison, Dexter is alive and escaped the hospital at Iron Lake. He hasn't been seen since. However, new murders have come up that fit Dexter's MO. Harrison denies knowing anything about his father's whereabouts. Batista believes him, but seeing his potential and intelligence, he offers Harrison an internship at the crime lab, a chance to learn from the inside and help him track down his father once again. Harrison, with no other options and hoping to understand his father better, accepts. During this time, Dexter has been living off the grid. A parcel and handwritten, hand-delivered note is posted through the door of his safe house, which reads, "We know who you are. We know what you do. Let's talk." The parcel contains a burner cell phone with only one number saved. He calls it. The invitation is from a powerful underground network known as the Nexus. The Nexus operates in the shadows, using people with violent urges as their enforcers. Their belief is that true justice can only be achieved outside the law, and they want Dexter Morgan as their latest recruit. The organizer is persuasive. Dexter is told that there are real monsters out in the world, and only people like him can truly stop them. He's offered resources, money, security, and most importantly, purpose. They provide Dexter with a new code, one that aligns closely with what Harry taught him, a way to channel his urges while serving a greater cause. In Miami, Harrison begins helping Batista investigate these new cases. He and Batista begin to find patterns and connections with each victim, leading to a wider web of incidents. Meanwhile, Dexter has been noticing inconsistencies in the Nexus operations. He discovers that their targets aren't just killers who escape justice. Some are merely threats to an oligarch's empire. He's been manipulated. His code has been compromised.
I haven't seen you like this before. This isn't about the code or feeding your urges. This is vengeance.
Yep.
Dexter purposefully leaves behind subtle clues, including crime scene inconsistencies and forensic anomalies, all in an attempt to warn the Miami Metro. But the deeper Batista and Harrison dig, the more dangerous the situation becomes. The Nexus see them as a threat, and the Nexus does not tolerate threats. It all leads to a brutal confrontation in an abandoned shipping yard outside Miami. Having followed a lead, Batista arrives at an abandoned building and discovers written confessions and information about the Nexus operations. But he isn't alone. Having connected the dots and followed Batista, Harrison is there too. Then from the shadows, Dexter appears. He seems desperate and remorseful, pained almost by his actions. He explains everything he knows about the Nexus and that he was manipulated into breaking his own code. Before Batista and Harrison can process the moment, the Nexus organizer emerges, threatening Batista. He explains that their reach goes far beyond anyone's expectations, and that it would be very easy for Angel Batista to become a disgraced police captain, arrested and imprisoned in the most dangerous prison in the US. Before Batista can pull his gun, the organizer shoots him in the shoulder before making a run for it. Dexter follows after him, leaving Harrison behind. The two tear through the building as Dexter chases the organizer to bring him down. Eventually, Dexter tackles him to the ground. A brutal and bloody fight ensues before Dexter finally gets the upper hand. Exhausted and broken, the organizer waits with unsettling patience for what he knows Dexter will do. But this time, there's no precision. This time it's just rage. As Dexter exacts his final blow, the organizer stabs him in the gut with a piece of broken window glass from the floor. The two men collapse. Dexter Morgan is gone. For real this time. As the dust settles, both the organizer and Dexter lie dead. As more police arrive on the scene, Harrison walks away. The thrill of the investigation, the adrenaline of the danger, and the fun of the hunt have left their mark. He is still unsure of what his future holds, but he has the urge to explore the darkness more. So what do you think? Would you want this to be how Dexter Resurrection plays out? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more deep dives into your favorite shows and movies. Thanks for watching.